Welcome back to the Woodstock Trader. Today we're going to review the LionSteel Daghetta, or Daghetta, or Daghetta. I'm going to go with Daghetta. Let's get started. In our first segment, or Don't Talk Spec to Me, we're going to get into the details of the LionSteel Daghetta, as I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But first I'd like to make some comparisons. On the board here, you can see I have three knives. From right to left, I have a LionSteel Maletta. That's a frame lock knife. And then a Spyderco Little Lion Spy, which is a collaboration between Spyderco and LionSteel. And then a DPX Hest, which is another collaboration between DPX and LionSteel. So I'm quite familiar with LionSteel knives and the quality, and frankly, I've been very impressed with anything I've seen from LionSteel. So I was quite excited when I saw this knife, this Daghetta, on sale at KnifeWorks. Typically, they're around $104, so it is a budget LionSteel versus more the high-end LionSteels, but on sale for $60. Well, I just couldn't resist that. So we're going to get into it. Opening up the box, we see a typical LionSteel box, nothing fancy there. Boxes don't really concern me. I keep the boxes just in case I decide to sell it or trade it later on. Past that, I don't really care about boxes. When I saw the knife online, I thought to myself, what a beautiful, stylistic shape that is. It's almost like it could be, cut out of a single piece of knife, if there was such a thing. The knife shape and the handle shape are almost like streamlined. It reminds me of something you'd see from like the 40s when they had streamlined cars. Very clean finish, very clean design. I love the spear point shape of the blade. And my love of the way this looks changed when I first put it in my hand. And let's get to that. This uses a locking system called a TOL, Tactical Operation Lock. It looks similar to the Benchmade or Doug Ritter Able Lock system, but that's where the similarity ends. It is more of a cross between a slip joint and a lever lock. Slip joint being, you've got this tension bar on the back that keeps the knife open or closed, but you've got this locking mechanism like a lever lock that keeps it in place once it's there. It does have steel liners with G10 scales over the top of it, and of course a reversible pocket clip. The blade itself is about 3 1/8 inches long, and like I said, it's a spear point design. And you see that kind of swedge look to it there. It gives it away as a spear point, as well as that it's pretty evenly shaped from bottom of the blade to, or cutting edge to ridge. Now, some people might call it a draw point. Nah, that's a spear point. And it does have two thumb studs and jibbing on the top and the bottom. Blade material, D2 tool steel, very hard steel. Will hold an edge a long time. Also, because it holds its edge a long time, you guessed it, it can be tough to sharpen. But once you get that edge on it, it'll hold it a good while. It's not as resistant or as corrosion resistant as other premium steels. This is considered somewhere between a medium and a high-end steel. It all depends who you talk to. There's a lot of knives coming out in D2 these days, and so this will take abuse. But as far as corrosion resistance and chipping resistance of the steel, there are better steels out there. But we're talking a $104 knife that was on sale. That being said, It's time for the talk to the hand segment. Well, right away, I could tell you that my hand was not happy with this knife. I love the shape. I think it's very attractive. I think probably the biggest fail of the knife is how difficult the lock system is to unengage the knife. Now, opening the knife, it's a little bit stiff because of the tension bar on the back, but you can open it with one hand. But closing it with one hand is a little more difficult. Most Access or Able lock systems, their locking mechanism, their pivot lock here, is so well made that you can take one finger or the other finger and easily close the knife. This locking mechanism actually is not well designed in the sense that it rotates just enough in there that it will not open with one. You have to press down on both sides to close it. So really not a one-handed closing knife. That was the first thing I immediately didn't like about it. So, and I'm spoiled. I'm spoiled over the Able lock systems of Doug Ritter. I'm spoiled over the Axis lock systems of Benchmade. And I'm spoiled over such great knives that LionSteel makes in their frame lock series. The next thing that I really didn't like, and I've seen a lot of G10 scales that were rough. This is beyond rough. The design is such, with the cuts in it, not only for where the clip can go on the left-hand side, but just the design in the G10 itself, that fit and finish, the finish fails. Fit, everything seems to be a good fit on this knife, except for the lock, naturally. But they could have done more with the finish of these scales. These are very rough. And with the clip being so tight, and you can see it's not much of a turn up on the clip, this is not, in fact, I think there's something in there. This is not a jeans knife. No way. You are never getting that in your jeans pocket. Not unless your jeans are micro thin. And I don't know about you, but I don't wear micro thin jeans. So, not a good jeans or casual knife. Now in dress pants, you might be able to get that past this between the roughness of the G10 scales and the tightness of the clip, and it is very tight. I mean, yeah, it's tight. Could I modify it? Probably. Do I want to? School's still out on that one. So, the pocket clip being too narrow at the entry and too tight across, and probably not having a lot of options for this knife as far as third-party clips, that it kind of limits my likability there as far as carrying, as it being an everyday carry. It probably wouldn't be. The lanyard hole, it looks pretty cool. I don't know what lanyard I could get in there that would actually work. My shoestrings are thicker than that. So paracord, doubtful. So looks nice finish to it. I like that it's got that stainless finish to it rather than just being a hole in the plastic. Mostly unfunctional. I do like, getting back to the look, I love the swedge design. I love how the knife just follows across there almost effortlessly, top and bottom. I did like the jibbing on the knife. So the main fails in my book is the scales are not finished properly, and the pivot lock here, I really think that's a design issue. Could I improve it by maybe doing some tooling to it, keeping it oiled a little better? Maybe. But then whatever I do to it, I avoided the warranty, so it's mine then. So I have a choice. I can try to do something with this, or I can send it back and get a refund. In our segment of inspect, which is what we've been doing here, I see a lot of things that raise red flags. Collect. As a collector, this is a beautiful looking knife in a case. But ultimately, reject. I'm going to have to say for this segment, this is a reject. And when I say reject, meaning that I don't recommend getting this knife if you're going to have it for anything other than a collection in a case. If you're buying this for an everyday carry, there's a lot of other good knives. Maybe not quite the toughness of the steel out there for this price, but a lot of good knives in that price range that would be a much better fit. We'll see you next time.